Good morning. Happy Sunday. I hope you are doing something to take care of yourself today. I am Nightingale, and on this channel we do a lot of makeup stuff, get ready with me's, unboxings, and just gaming, some witchy stuff, some crafty stuff, and occasional pet content. According to today's schedule, I should be doing according to my schedule anyways, I should be doing a full try-on of the Beauty Creations line box that I got. Or not Beauty Creations, sorry. The Ice Cream Beauty box that I got. However, I'm doing something else to take care of myself today. I'm auditioning for a play. Something I don't do that I haven't done in 2 years. I used to be very, very involved in our local community theater to the point where I've been the president of the board of directors, I've been the secretary, I've been the vice president, I have been member at large, I have been a lot of things. I have been the lead in plays, I have been background character, I've been in musicals, I have run lights and sounds, I have sold tickets, I have sold concessions. I have done a lot. I've been involved with this community theater for 15 years probably, but we moved about 3 years ago to about an hour and a half away, and we lived there for about a year and a half, and then a year and a half ago we moved back, and my life was very, very busy with my last job, and I just didn't have time, so I didn't do it, and now I have time, and I need to be going out and seeing people because I don't go out and see people. So we decided, and by we I mean my husband and I decided that it would be a good idea for me to audition for this play. All of the parts available for women of my age are smaller, so it's not a huge commitment. I mean, Hell Week is always going to be Hell Week, and it's always, you can think, oh, I only have to be there these days, and then things come up and you end up having to be there a lot more than you thought you would. But I don't have anything keeping me from functioning right now and doing it, so I'm going to. I did have somebody point out something really cool, though, about the palette I got in my Ice Cream Beauty box. It is called The Legend. I didn't know it, but this was based on Selena. And Selena was somebody, if you don't know who she was a musician in the early 90s, specifically a Spanish language musician, although she was crossing over and she'd had some major hits in mainstream American pop music. Me gusta ver la música de Selena. Recuerdo escuchar en la radio y verla actuar. Cuando la canción me sentí muy triste. Su música me ha ayudado a aprender español y de pequeña. That was, I had to have help with that because a few of those words were ones I wasn't familiar with, but basically, I grew up in Southern California, so I grew up not fluent in Spanish, but I understand a lot of Spanish. And of course I took Spanish in high school and I learned Spanish, and what I was saying there was Selena's music is actually one of the ways I learned Spanish, because I loved her music and I thought she had such a beautiful voice. And when she was killed, I was very, very sad. And that biopic of her actually launched J-Lo's career. She was pretty much completely unknown, and then she did this biopic and did the music for it, and she sounded so much like Selena and did such an amazing job. And it just kind of set off her career. So, yeah, I didn't know that this was about her, but I think it's really cool. And I'm definitely excited to own it. Unfortunately, because I am doing an audition today, this is a little bright for an audition. Now, I'm still me. I'm still not. Normally when you go to an audition, you should go in very basic, very, very, I don't want to say nude, but natural looking makeup. you don't want to do a whole lot. Like, you're gonna be on stage, but it's not a true stage light situation, so you don't need the full stage makeup. This is a bit more of an informal thing. One, because it's community theater, and two, because it's not my first experience with this community theater. It's not my first experience with this director. I've actually known this director since she was a little girl. We were in choir together when she was like 13. That was 10, 15 years ago. Like, she's grown up a lot since then. She's in her mid to late 20s now, I think. But she's extremely intelligent, extremely talented. Like, I've never worked with her as a director, but I have absolutely, like, I've been in plays with her. When I was in The Importance of Being Earnest, I played her governess, she played Gwendolyn. We've been in several shows together. She's been a backstage person for several shows I've been in. I've been a backstage person for several shows she's been in. So, now that doesn't mean, oh, I'm guaranteed a part. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm not guaranteed a part. It all depends on how many people audition and what she sees for her cast. I'm very much not guaranteed a position at all. She has a lot of friends, so she usually gets a really good turnout for her plays, and she does a lot of plays that are classics. She does Shakespeare's, and this one is going to be Jane Eyre. And classics tend to get a good turnout because people are familiar with the story, you know, and they tend to really, really like the stories. And she's gotten some incredible training. She's gotten to do some amazing opportunities as part of her learning career. And we are super lucky to have her. So she gets a very good turnout. And I'm rusty. I haven't been in a play for 2.5, 3 years. So I'm not guaranteed a damn thing. Just because I know her, just because I think she's a sweet girl. I say girl like she's not in her 20s, but you know, I think she's an amazing actress, and I'm sure she is an amazing director, although I've never been directed by her. This is not her first show directing. I've just never been directed by her. So yeah, I am excited, but I'm not, like, I'm nervous too, because I've been open with you guys that, hey, I'm auditioning. And I've done that in a situation where I'm not guaranteed a role. I could, you know, be calling y'all tomorrow or doing a get ready with me later this week and be like, so, didn't get a role in that play. That's a real possibility. In community theater, it's kind of, you never know what's going to happen. It comes and goes in phases. And some directors, you know, they really like certain actors and actresses, and they'll pick plays with those actors and actresses in mind. And it's not pre-casting necessarily, but they're pretty darn sure that this is who they want to have. Some directors pre-cast. I don't like it when they do, but it happens. But I don't think this one precasts. I don't know. I had a dream last night that she had precast, but it was only a dream. Sorry, I just needed to make sure the foundation was going where it needed to go and not blotchy. I'll probably be turning the light on and off quite a bit. So, yeah. And getting a role, or not getting a role, I should say, doesn't mean that I'm a bad actress. It doesn't mean much of anything other than I wasn't what she had in mind, you know? I'm not the vision she had for any of her characters. And that's perfectly fine. There are more plays this year, so I will have other opportunities. And then I can always do backstage stuff if I, you know, just really, really want something to do. I doubt this time I will offer to do backstage stuff just because, I don't know. I hate getting pigeonholed as backstage stuff, and I've had that happen at this playhouse several times, where I start doing tech for them, and then suddenly I'm the go-to person to ask when the other tech people back out. It's like, I don't like doing tech. I did it a lot because when I was younger, I was too shy, and I couldn't just let go on stage and be someone other than myself. I was so worried that they would see my character doing something weird and they'd think it's me. And I've grown a lot since then. And number one, I have realized my character is not me. And anyone who thinks I am my character is going to be silly. In addition, I just don't care what people think anymore. It's like, I have to give you permission to affect my mental health and affect what I think of myself, and I generally don't. I choose the people who get to influence my self-worth. And pretty much right now that's limited to Wolf, and Wolf. I've found when you open that door too much and you care too much about what the world thinks as a whole, you open yourself up to getting hurt way too much. Especially when you don't look like the world's standard of beauty. So, and like I said, I don't know what she has in mind for some of these characters. And I will also be honest, I've never read Jane Eyre. I know. I have a degree in English education, and I've never read Jane Eyre. That seems crazy. I agree with you. That seems absolutely crazy. And yet here we are, and I'm auditioning for a play about a book I've never read. I kind of know the gist of the story. Like, it's about an orphan and finding her way in the world and finding love, basically. Like I said, I know the gist of the story, I just don't know. I haven't read it. Alright. These types of stories just weren't my cup of tea in high school or college. But it's different watching it or being in it than reading it. And while I still don't have any desire to actually read the book, the play sounds interesting. It's like All My Sons. You know, they did that play a few years ago. I have no desire to read that book, but the play was really good. Now, I said when I did the stage makeup, you generally don't use highlighter when you're going on stage. Keep in mind, this is not full stage. And this is about presenting, so I'm not doing full stage makeup. I don't need to for this. I'm doing an approximation of stage makeup. I also don't have auditions until 6 o'clock tonight, so I know I'm going to have to touch some of this up. But it should stay pretty well. I know that the baking method, which is somewhat what I'm doing here, I'm doing a very light version of it, ages you. It is not something that works well for older folks, but I also know I am auditioning for parts above my age. The characters I'm auditioning for are probably more going to be in their 50s. There's not really many parts for 40-year-olds. Honestly, in theater in general, women disappear around age 30 and don't reappear until they're in their 50s. Don't believe me? Take a look. There's just not a ton of roles for middle-aged women. There's just not. So I don't mind if I'm aging myself up slightly. I'm not like going out of my way trying to, but I'm not trying to either. I did get informed today that I have been saying this brand wrong. It's not Ofra, it's Ofra. So I appreciate the person who took the time to let me know that. I will endeavor to pronounce it correctly moving forward. It's one of those things where the few times I had heard it pronounced was by other people who maybe weren't aware. I'd only ever heard it pronounced Ofra, but the person who I heard it pronounced that way, actually I don't want to use that. Okay, the person I heard it pronounced Ofra is not somebody who necessarily knows how to pronounce things well. So I take your word for it. You know what? I think the Beauty and the Beast blushes have been doing really well. I really like them. So we're going to go with that. It's more of a berryish color, which I like for myself. It's got a bit of shimmer to it, but like I said, it's not full stage, so it's okay. It'll be interesting doing stage makeup now that I always felt so under skilled compared to the other girls in the shows. And yes, I said girls, deal with it. But they were very, very skilled at stage makeup, and I was okay. So I'm excited to be more than okay. Good grief, one of the cats is like having a party in the pee room. Okay, and I'm going in with the fluorescent palette. This is my favorite highlighter palette. I'm going in with blue because one, I feel like it gives me a cool shimmer, and I've got so much pink on my face. I like having a little bit of cool tones just to kind of contrast a little bit. And that's absolutely been my favorite of the highlighters in this palette. You can tell I have used it the most. Okay. So now all that's left is my favorite part, the eyes. And like I said, I'm still going to do a little more, like I technically should be doing a nude semi-smoky eye. I'm not going to. I am still me. And I still want to go on stage as me. Okay, that's the red glitter one. There we go. And me has bold eyeshadow. And I can change it, like I'll wear what she tells me to wear for the play. I'm not going just like bat crap crazy. I'm not doing like a big old wing and everything like that. But I am doing a little bit more than I probably should. I'm doing colors I probably shouldn't, but that's okay. And yes, I'm doing my water line. Because I've gotten where I can handle that on the bottom. I can't do it on the top yet. Like, it freaks me out. It makes me so nervous. But I can do it on the bottom. And I agree, it looks better. Okay. It's like last chance for second guessing. What are we doing with the eyes? And I'm going for it. That's what I'm doing with the eyes. No, I'm not using that. I don't know why that's down there. It shouldn't be. Or do we want to go? You know what? That's been kind of my favorite lately. That's what we're doing. Go with what makes you feel powerful. Because 90% of this audition is going to be about emotion and how do I feel about myself. So I'm going in with my Elements palette, which is my favorite Lorella palette. I need light. We're starting with a very light blue. It's the ocean from the water element. And I want to make sure I get it nice and saturated, especially on the inside of the eye. Which is easy because Lorella palettes are super saturated. And then which brush do I want? I want this one. Then we are going in with water, also from the Lorella Elements palette. And we're gonna just layer that over so it blends a bit. And then it's going to cover the main part of the eye. I always wanted to be either a water or a fire sign. Like, you can't change your signs. You are what you are. But I didn't, like, purposely didn't check to see what Gemini was as a teenager because I just felt, I've always felt an affinity towards the water. Like, even when we were coming back to Arkansas every year, what made me finally, you know, the moment that it was like, okay, it's vacation time is when we would cross the lake. And I always looked forward to crossing the lake because the lake was where I spent 90% of my time. Okay, maybe not 90%, but most of the time. I was always a water baby. I learned to swim at a very young age. And one of my earliest memories is splashing around on the side of the boat while Dad and Grandpa pulled Grandpa's trot line. And if you don't know what a trot line is, it's a line that you string across underwater a cove. You string it low enough so boats don't catch it. And it's got hooks and you bait it, and hopefully when you check the line the next morning you've caught some fish, ideally catfish. And you might say, well, that's not fair, you're not doing the work. You have to remember, my grandpa didn't grow up fishing for fun. And even as an adult, when he was doing this, he wasn't fishing for fun. He was fishing to feed his family. Like, my grandpa grew up very, very poor. He was born in 1911, and his dad died in 1922. If you do the math, my grandpa was 11 years old. He was the oldest son, and it was his responsibility to take care of his family. So fishing for Grandpa was not necessarily playtime. Fishing was, how do I get the most meat to feed my family? So he had multiple younger brothers and sisters. And by the time his mom remarried, he you know, it was too old for him to go back to school, so he just kept helping stepdad, being the breadwinner of the family. And he never really stopped. And he was, a young adult when the Great Depression happened. And basically he picked up Grandma one day and said, I'm going to California and I'm taking you with me. Either we can be married or not, but you're coming with me. And so they pulled up to the courthouse in Walnut Ridge, Arkansas, and the judge was fixing to leave for the day because it was kind of late in the day. And Grandpa and his brother and Grandma's sister, best friend and Grandma's sister, who were already married, were in the back seat. And Grandpa said, well, we're taking off for California, and I prefer she be my wife before we left. But if you can't do it, I understand. We'll find a courthouse in the next town. And the judge said, hang on a minute, ran inside, grabbed the paperwork, and then came back out and said, do you? Okay, you're married. And they got married in their car in the parking lot of the Walnut Ridge Courthouse. True story. It's kind of funny, but that's what happened. And we always thought that was, kind of cute. So anyways, he became the foreman of an orange grove in California. Like, he did really well. He became head of the water department in Pomona. He built a church. Not with, physically built their church. Didn't, preach and draw followers. He wasn't that kind of man. He was we need a building? All right, I'll build a building. So I grew up attending church in the building my grandpa built. And my dad, when he said he wanted to be a pastor, it was in the building that he helped his dad build. We were very close to that building. Okay. So yeah, Grandpa didn't see a trot line as cheating. He saw a trot line as necessary to feeding his family. And my earliest memories, one of them, is swimming next to the boat on the other side of the trot line. Safety first, folks, safety first. And my dad looks over and I'm splashing on a rock. And all of a sudden he grabs the back of my life jacket because it had one of those little hood things. It had a hook on, or a handle on it. And he just lifts me on up out of the water, and I'm like, what's going on, Dad? He's like, I think you're done swimming today. I think you need to stay in the boat. And I'm like, okay, but what happened? What had happened was my dad looked over, and I was splashing a copperhead. And I didn't even see it because I was terrified of snakes. I would scream bloody murder. He didn't want to scare me, so he just grabbed me by the back of the hood and pulled me on in the boat. And we didn't mention that to Mom. But, it's... Okay. turn the light off so I'm not blinding. That's what we're doing for the eyes today. Like I said, this is not true audition makeup, and it's definitely not true stage makeup. But this playhouse is very, very low key. It's very come as you are. It's very, it's fine, is what it is. It's fine. And I just want to be comfortable. And I can't believe that this is what makes me comfortable now. Like, if you had told me 6 months ago that putting on comfortable makeup would be putting on bright pinks and purples and a full face of medium coverage, at least, not quite full coverage, but medium coverage makeup, I would have laughed at your face. I'd been like, yeah, nope, you're crazy. That's not true. That's not me. But yet, here we are. The fun part is going to be the lipsticks. And whatever I do to my lips right now, I'm going to have to redo it tonight because it ain't going to last. That's the one thing I cannot make last. But that's okay. Do I want to do setting powder? I really don't know. Well, yeah, let's go ahead and do setting powder. Because I do want the makeup to last as long as possible. Because I want to do as little retouch tonight as I can. So I'm going to do setting spray as well. But the setting spray, I will wait till I've done my face. Like my mascara and lips. But setting powder, I like to do when I've got all of my dry goods on my face. So there's that. So for this play, one thing that's confusing me about this play, Jane Eyre, like the play we're doing, the script we're doing is not a musical, but she wants us to come prepared with a song. I'm just kind of like, okay, I haven't sung in years, but okay. And it's fine. I am not a great singer, but I can hold a tune, and that's all I intend to show today, is that I can hold a tune. Yeah. I will be singing Landslide and hoping that I stay in tune. Because, oh, by the way, she has perfect frickin' pitch. It's fun knowing those things. It's fun knowing that if I'm off, she will know. She'll know. But it's fine. I'm not auditioning. If she doesn't want to cast me as one of the singers, I'm okay with that. Alright, all we need is mascara and we are done. You know, I'm actually beginning to like how I look without bangs. How crazy is that? I've had bangs my entire life, and now I'm starting to think about growing them out. I mean, don't get me wrong, I probably won't, but I'm thinking about it. I have a white eyelash. I didn't know your eyelashes could go white. I don't like that. I have brown hair. I don't want white hair. But you can see, I have a lot of white hair. So I dye my hair. But like I said, I'm going for an older part. So I may not be dyeing my hair for a few months. Or I may only be dyeing the ends. I don't know. I mean, I'm not even opposed to going silver necessarily, but I don't really want to. And I told you guys, I don't wear false lashes on stage. However, I am not above double applying to get the effect of it. And I love the combination of Benefit with Benefit's FanFest with Tarte's tubing mascara. They combine beautifully. I generally don't do that on my under eye just because I worry about my eye watering. Last thing is setting spray. It is Shades by Shin, the setting spray. Yesterday when I sprayed it, I got like a squirt on the nose, like full on. It wasn't a spritz, it was a squirt. Okay, we done. What do we think? Except for the purple, which will wash out before the show, unless I reapply it, because it's almost gone now. It's just a little bit left. What do we think? Are we stage ready? I hope so, because I've only got 9 hours before the audition. 8 hours before the audition. So, thank you for joining me. Sorry this wasn't very much edited. It was just kind of raw with spaces and everything. But wish me luck. Most of you already have, and I appreciate it. I will let you know later this week how it went. Bye, guys.